My child's 12 months old. I'm age adjusting to 10 months and not crawling. Your child is not milestoning correctly. You got gaps, and I know you're going to say, oh, but there's rolling over happens, or there's independent sitting and so forth. First of all, where I would look at, especially with the diaphragm the way it is, I know you had brain trauma or prematurity trauma, let's just say. I would have a look at genetics. I would be looking at genetics because lots of times when there's a stressed birth, they overlook those things, right? And that's where just because you had birth trauma, I mean, and the reason the prematurity could have happened is because of genetics. The rolling over, the head is way too heavy, right? And the reason I'm saying genetics too, what you're saying is the stomach muscles didn't come in. The diaphragm is more ovaled, right? And this could have been from hospitalizations, but there's a certain roundness to our diaphragm, which assists in the rolling over. And then even though you have independent sitting, you don't have a pubic bone strike. The midline is really hard. She's not bouncing through the pelvis. She's kind of like weighted into the pelvis. So you don't have coming to sitting. And just in general, her system is too heavy. Heaviness, what I mean is when I'm working with somebody, right, I should be able to move them to and fro, right? And going here. The way that she's trying to lift herself, right? There's a lift to it. And that's what we need to work on. First, it would be the heavy head course, so you understand that. But honestly, in the fast, that's why we do the fast start. You're going to hate me for this, but I want you to go back to tummy time, because she didn't do any of them well enough, right? And she's picking pieces and parts to stuff that you want. You want crawling. She needs to come into sitting, which she can't because the way that the diaphragm's spreading out. Right, coming into sitting, and this is where you need to do that course. No child comes to sitting through their center. Now, I will do that if a child's very visually impaired, because coming this way is like frog in the blender, but I'll bring them to sitting this way so they have a more visual horizon, which is not the case of your child. But your child has to come to sitting this way, and this way right now, because that diaphragm is spreading out and that's happening. And then after the tummy time course, I'd be doing the breathing course, because I don't think she's had a good first breath. And so the stomach is what rolls you. The stomach was what brings you up, right? Not core strength, core movements, right? She's strong enough. And so that's why you're so perplexed that she can sit. But if you want her to crawl, she's just too heavy to get off. And I don't mean weight-wise. It's not 10 pounds to 10 pounds. But her system, she's got to lift it. And you're seeing her push kind of thing. That's not how baby gets into all fours, right? They're into sitting, and they cross midline and they go over here. But she can't even cross midline in independent sitting. As a matter of fact, I just did a brand new questionnaire on independent sitting, and I'm doing the webinar Thursday morning on independent sitting, so you can see those things. But she hasn't even rolled over. You don't have the quality of the milestones that you're looking for, and she's bypassing. And on top of that, when you age adjust, you just get this real false sense of security that it's okay, they're a little bit behind. But at 10 months old, she should be crawling all over the place. Independent sitting should have been at 5.5 months old, but at 12 months old, she should be cruising on furniture and standing. And you're not even close to that. And so we need some serious catch up, but I don't want you to think catch up going forward. I want a better foundation. It won't take you long to start off when you're going to be like, oh, she moves too much for tummy time course. You can do it when she's sleeping and so forth in the breathing course, but I can't stress enough. You're gonna start seeing bigger gaps in that development. I don't want it to happen, because that heaviness of her trying to get up and then to walk, and then it's going to be more of a walk fall versus a walk wobble, and that's just not the way it should be. But again, you really didn't have a good tummy time. You're really not getting a good rolling over. You didn't get the grabbing the feet right. The independent sitting's not right. And so now you're looking again for future milestones when you just don't have those good qualities that you need. Again, we're about optimal development, and that's what I want from you. But again, we cannot skip these milestones. It's just too imperative. especially with your age adjusting. So, but first of all, we have to get the hospitalization out. So the breathing course is really mandatory. Any child that has issues with their first breath or breathing within the first 3 months of life, I'm going to tell you right now, if you can't oppose gravity in breath, which is the easiest way to oppose gravity, you're not going to do it in vertical milestones without some form of intervention. It's just any child that really has interrupted breath cycles right at birth or shortly thereafter, I'm telling you, should just be right in a program. And it's a very overlooked malfunction in the cognitive and physical development as a synopsis. And that's where the first foundation we have to go after. So that's why I want tummy time and the breathing in combination. I want a good 2 weeks on that and see like, oh wow, she's starting to roll over better. And then we're going to go to the rolling over, but you're going to concentrate specifically on the heavy head. Her head should not be down and rolling over. It should be up, right? A baby starts to reach up and goes over. And that's what you're going to get in that concentrated in the rolling over course. And then from that, I want to resubmit a video, so follow-up videos in around the 2 week time period so we can update your program. And then Erin's going to be with you anyway in the support program, so you have it all. But I'm telling you right now, for all of those that are going to argue me with the age adjusting, it's not going to get you anywhere. We have to stop doing it. This is where she's at. She's been born for 12 months, and we got to, because she's just going to get too big. And it's when is she going to catch up? It's just too much of a false sense of security that that's not your issue. And then again, I'm the first person to recommend. I would be looking at genetics more so than neurology. You probably have to have both conversations because of the birth. But I would get a panel done and have someone get just a second opinion on it. Thanks.